Hey everyone, Dirk from DPG Off-Road. Today we're going to talk about what is the best suspension lift kit for your Jeep JK Wrangler. There are posts all over the internet about this, and there are opinions all over the place. And honestly, suspension for these Jeeps has gotten a lot better in general, but there are a lot of things to think about when you're looking at a suspension system for your 07 to 18 Wrangler, and we want to talk about some of those things today. By the way, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's going to be a lot more technical as well as product review videos coming. We appreciate that. Today we're going to talk about our Spartan Series Hybrid suspension systems for the JK Wranglers, our Deluxe, Ultimate, and Super Ultimate packages. These are hybrid packages, so we're kind of using the best of several different products in this industry to come up with what we believe are some of the best suspension systems out there for these vehicles. Our most popular kit for these is our Ultimate kit, which we're running on one of our test mule Jeeps here. It's an Old Man Emu JKS hybrid. We use Old Man Emu springs and shocks with JKS, track bars, sway bar disconnects and links, extended brake line brackets, and so on, to come up with a package that gives us a complete kit. There are lift kits in this market that run anywhere from $400 to $4,000 and more. So what does a person really need to do a lift kit on their JK Wrangler? Of course, one of the things you have to ask yourself is, what are you using the Jeep for? Is this a hardcore off-roader? There are many Jeeps that don't go off-road at all. They're just for looks, and you know, that's okay. We're fine with that. Or something in between is where a lot of people fall, where the Jeep needs to be daily drivable and off-road capable. A true dual-purpose daily driver, weekend warrior. If we can have the capability to do everything well, that's what we want. There are a lot of lift kits out there that will swing one way or the other for these Jeeps. A friend of mine was test driving JKs a while back and wanted me to look at some Jeeps. One that he had on 35-inch tires was really cool looking, but every time you drove the Jeep and went around a corner, you thought it was going to fall over. There was a lot of lean and sway in that Jeep. It was very loose when you went around corners. The ride was good, but the handling was not good. Then you can go to the other end of the spectrum and have suspensions that have good handling, but they don't ride very good. They can be very rough. And then some of your lift kits out there that don't give you the parts you need. They may do one or the other, but they don't handle well. They're all over the road because they don't have the components that you need when you lift the Jeep to correct all of the geometry that lifting that Jeep is going to throw off or alter. Again, our Ultimate kit's what we have on this Jeep. We lift the Jeep, and when we do that, we put a taller spring in there. We push that axle further away from the frame, and as soon as we do that, we just altered the operating angles on multiple components. Control arms, track bars, steering linkages, drive shafts, sway bars. All of that changes when we raise the Jeep up and push that axle down. So a lift kit that, without going overboard, but still gives you all the fundamental components to correct and readjust all that geometry, is really ideally what you want to look at. Our Ultimate kit on this one, we consider the starting point. We have the Deluxe is a little bit more budget friendly. The Ultimate is really the bottom line basics, and then the Super Ultimate goes from there. And we can really design any package using Old Man Emu, JKS, Curry, and a number of other components in the industry to fine-tune a kit to work the way that you want yours. We have lift heights available in anywhere from 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4-inch configurations, different spring rates, different shock lengths. So if you want that Jeep to be a comfortable cruiser or a really, have a long travel crawler and still do everything well, we have all of those components to do that. Here we have our Ultimate kit, which is pictured on this JK. Here you can see we've got our Old Man Emu coils, shock absorbers, front track bar, rear track bar, JKS disconnects, JKS rear adjustable sway bar links, brake line, drop brackets. So we've got all the basic fundamentals we need to give you a complete suspension system at that level. You see in the picture the optional bump stops that you may or may not need in that kit depending on the tire size you're running, whether it's 33s, 35s, 37s, for example, or whether the fenders are stock, whether the fenders have been trimmed more like this one for more room, or whether you have an aftermarket fender flare that has more room than the stock flares provide. Then how much shock compression you have, tire to fender clearance is going to determine how much bump stop you need and whether we need to tune that and add that to your package or not. This vehicle has the shortest, we're running the Old Man Emu BP51 shocks, which are the highest end shocks that we have, fully adjustable on the compression and rebound settings. This is really racing technology for your daily driver. These shocks are incredible. They're spendy, they're on the higher end of the price range, but an excellent shock. It's some of the nicest shocks I've ever used on any vehicle in 20 years of doing this. In the Ultimate kit, you have this kit available with JKS J-Spec shocks, Old Man Emu Nitro Sport, 2 different types of Fox shocks, or Old Man Emu BP51. So we've got a variety of shocks available here. This started out with the Old Man Emu Nitro Charger shocks, which were excellent, and I did the BP51 later on, and those are my favorite shocks. I love those shocks. Really incredible, the control, the valving, and the dampening adjustability you have in those shocks. We also have the options on these vehicles. This one has JKS disconnects on the front sway bar, so we can disconnect the sway bar. But if you have a Rubicon model, you have the in-cab disconnect on yours, we don't need a disconnect on the sway bar. So we have the option of configuring these packages either with the disconnects for the front sway bar, or we can use JKS adjustable links all the way around at a lower price, or at an even lower price point, we can move the rear factory links to the front and just put our longer link in the rear, and that works well on certain configurations here as well. So a number of different ways we can tune that suspension, and price points and shock upgrades and options. A lot of ways we can put together a package to suit your particular Jeep as to ride quality, handling, and control. One of the greatest things and reasons we use the Old Man Emu most often on our spring and shock combinations is the combination of ride and handling that we get out of these packages. For a lifted JK, this particular Jeep, it's just what I love about these suspensions is the ride is great. It's got a very good ride, not a rough, harsh ride, but the handling is almost sports car like. It's uncanny how tight and precise this Jeep handles with these suspension kits. This is our most popular package again. For that reason, we're not the least bit worried about throwing this Jeep into a corner at normal and plus speeds, and it just reacts quickly and promptly instead of a lot of body roll and lean like you find in a lot of other suspension packages. So here's a couple of pictures of this Jeep just back on our testing grounds. And again, with the BP51 even, these are the shorter shocks that are available. We have them in multiple lengths. We can go longer if you really want big flex, but you can see here the articulation that's available just even with the shorter shocks that we have. The off-road capability is very good, but again, I've had this Jeep up at 100 miles an hour, which I didn't really mean to. I was passing a vehicle one time on the interstate, and I got one of those guys that wanted to go 15 mile an hour under the speed limit until they got past, and then they want to speed up. So I passed the guy and I went on around him, and when I looked down, I was doing 100 miles an hour and really was surprised that I was going that fast because it didn't seem like it. The Jeep's very stable at higher speeds and very capable at off-road speeds. I just haven't seen a suspension package out there that really, especially at this price point, that offers that combination of ride and handling on the road and that kind of capability on the trail. We also have an install video of this suspension kit going on. If you're interested in a kit like this or any suspension kit, we have a pretty detailed install video on how to put this or really any suspension on a JK Wrangler. So our Spartan Series suspension kits are on the website at DPG Off-Road under the suspension kits section. You'll find those packages there. If you have any questions about these packages, or if you'd like to get a custom tuned suspension designed just for your vehicle, give us a call at DPG Off-Road. We'll be glad to set up a suspension just for you and your vehicle. So from Dirk at DPG Off-Road, thanks for watching. God bless America, and we'll see you next time.